Hello everyone, this is Noemi from Valley Heights near Sydney, and we are here from New South Wales, Australia. We are going to talk about the sixth gold ruby ray, which is one of the aspects of this ray is prosperity, peace, devotion. So there are too many things to say today, so all the information we are going to see and talk is in a book, Seven Rays by Ruben Cedeño. So let's get started. Well, sixth gold ruby ray. The sixth gold ruby ray is in the sixth sphere of both the great central spiritual sun and the causal sheath. To see this definition, let's see the representation of what in religion mostly is known as God or Allah or Ishvara. And well, we also can say in metaphysics we call it as the totality of life. Because what happens if the person who is listening to this is atheist? Well, they might not believe in God, but for sure they know, you know, that life exists. Life is everywhere. Well, for that reason we call this the totality of life, or the great central spiritual sun. Well, this is the origin of everything, and it's surrounded by seven spheres. So when we say that the sixth sphere is this one, gold ruby. Gold is, well, we both know what gold is. Is when we talk about color, just primary colors, blue, yellow, and red or pink. But what about if we combine yellow and pink? We create, or red and orange. Red and yellow. We create orange. Well, orange is the color or gold ruby. We call gold ruby is but it's orange as well. Okay, and that is the color of this ray. This is what we are going to talk. But at the same time, when we talk about prosperity, for example, it's interesting to think of prosperity. Yes, there are millionaires. In the nature there is the abundance. Well, but what about you? So you also have prosperity. You also are prosperous. The thing is, that prosperity is within you and in a particular place, and it is in your causal sheath or body. Why sheath? Well, because it's surrounding your inner self. We said that God is surrounded by seven spheres, or the totality of life, or the central, the great central spiritual sun. Okay. And we know that prosperity, there is prosperity in the world. Yes, there is gold. Yes, underneath there's plenty of gold and precious stones and everything. But what about me? Okay, so through your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions, you can manifest prosperity in your life. But not only prosperity, because the gold ruby ray is not only prosperity. So the thing is, you can do like this gentleman. You just concentrate within you that you are that gold ruby ray is within you. Well, the sixth gold ruby ray provides idealism, mysticism, devotion, grace, provision, peace, prayer, and God's serenity that each human being has to develop. If you're a peaceful person, good on you. But what about if you need to, well, work on that to generate peace around you? And as you see, there are many virtues within this ray. When we call ray, is just this aspect of the life. For example, peace, prosperity, devotion, grace. So let's have a look at this. Prayer, yes. Well, in metaphysics, we learn not to pray, but to decree. By using the words, the magic words, I am. And when we say, I am prosperity, I am peace in this situation, well, you're just acting with that prayer. And we know about the scientific prayer. Yep. To have everything that we need. The sixth gold ruby ray allows the limitless provision to flow like air when we breathe. Just simple like that, unless our mind and feelings stop this. Meaning, like you can, as easily as you breathe, like taking air, oxygen within your lungs and then exhale, as easy as that, because prosperity is around you. But, and this is a but with capital letter, because prosperity is not about, so prosperity is not having money. How does that sound? Sounds interesting. The point here is that you can be the richest man, the richest person in the world, and you might lack of something. Something that you cannot buy with money, for example. But what about if you are the richest person in the world? And then you want, for example, park your car and you don't find parking because you think parking here is so difficult. You want to go to the beach. You want to go to Coogee Beach, for example. But you think, oh no, I'm not going to Coogee Beach because it's difficult to park there. It's difficult to find the parking there. Prosperity is not about having money, it's about consciousness of prosperity, which is different, completely different. So, coming back to this, you just can breathe prosperity, yes. But instead, what people say is, I'm not sure if I don't have any money or the things are very expensive. That is like, some people say that I don't have any money, I don't have money, or things like, oh, this is expensive. Well, let me tell you that what you think, you feel, you will manifest. If you say you don't have money, well, you will not have money. If you think that the things are expensive, it's because you are comparing what you have in your pocket or in your bank account in relation to that thing that you want. So, what I'm saying here is to have what you want. I'm not talking here that the key of prosperity is savings. Is consciousness of prosperity. And you can develop that state of consciousness by thinking, the mind, feelings, by decrease, and by actions. Okay, so and this is the decree. My world has everything I need. My world has everything I need. What about if you need parking? Okay, before you leave your house and you know where you are going, you said, my world has everything I need. I have a lot of examples about this one from different situations. For example, let me tell you about this story. This story, which actually, in fact, was a fact. I was going to do travel. I was going to travel, and at that time, well, I already decided I want to go to this place, and I had no idea whatsoever how I was going to do to get the money. But I thought, my world has everything I need. Let me say. That's it. Well, long story short, the money appeared and I could travel. That is one. But I have others. So, for example, one, and this is not about money, just because people just focus on money, and money cannot buy everything. So, for example, and this is funny, but I was in a public toilet without toilet paper. And I thought, my world has everything I need. Well, someone came and said, excuse me, a friend of mine actually came, excuse me, do you have toilet paper? And she said, yes, oh, thank you. And I got toilet paper. And about state of consciousness, and as I said, I have Plenty of stories about that one. This one is about Gautama Buddha. Gautama Buddha was, teaching around India, and someone came saying, Gautama, I'm so poor, I have nothing. And Gautama looked at him and said, but you have feet, you have arms, you have a head, you have things. State of consciousness. State of consciousness. My world has everything I need. And, well, with money we can buy a lot of things, yes. But what about forgiveness? Can we buy forgiveness? Can we buy intelligence? We can buy books, yes, but intelligence? Can we buy health? You can go to the doctor, you can go to your GP, you can go to your physiotherapist, but can you buy health? Can you buy beauty? You can buy creams, for example, makeup, but can you buy beauty? Nowadays, doctors try to do their best with some surgeries, but still, can you buy beauty? So it's not about money. So prosperity is not about saving money. Prosperity is state of consciousness, and you will have what you need. But you need to build your state of consciousness of prosperity. For example, the first thing I'm going to say something very like, you're not going to buy every day a house, for example. If you want to buy a house, that is the point. If you want a house, don't think of buying a house, because you are restricting the possibilities. What about if the house comes from a different way? As a gift? Maybe. But are you open to that possibility? You might be thinking, oh, who on earth will gift a house? Well, because you are thinking like that, you will not have a house as a gift. I know someone very close that their parents gift this person a house. And it's a very close of mine. Okay, so think of that. Okay, we said that prosperity is about mind, feelings, words, the decree. So you are thinking the decree, you are feeling. The feeling is it's already done, and the feeling is it's done. It's not, oh, I'm going to see if it's happened, or oh, I have to wait if this happened. It's right now. It's when you get home, when you leave home, you already know that the spot for your car is there. And then the actions. Bills to pay. If you have debts, well, you might not have what you need. Is the law of cause and effect. So you need to respect the law and pay your bills. If you have a mortgage, it's fine because it's, payments. But if you have a bill, pay it. In order to allow the totality of life to give you what you need. So pay your bills. Important. Another action, wearing socks or any clothes with holes. Oh, no, 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 no. Because for that little hole or big hole, luck will come, will enter in your world. So you need to, I look, every single, even underwear, socks, t-shirt, pants, everything. Search that there's no holes whatsoever. I know someone, to tell you, this is not a good story, but this is an example. I met someone who used to wear shirt with a hole in the shirt. Okay. So that person paid for a year at least for the insurance of a car who he didn't have anymore. And she was, so that kind of things. And then the insurance didn't recognize anything. So search for everything. And the photo delivery has black socks. So I'm not going to say don't wear black. If you like black, wear it. If you think that black makes you slim, wear it. I'm going to say that black is the lack of light. Black is the lack of light. It is not a color, and is connected with accidents. For example, black cars are involved in more accidents. Statistically are more often involved in accidents. And if you are wearing black and you fell off, okay, you already know why you fell off. You are wearing black. But if you like to wear black, just wear it. It's your choice. Okay, so we talk about prosperity. We talk about devotion. And devotion is related to the religions. And many religions. Many different: Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism, Sikhism, Hinduism, Buddha Dharma. Buddha Dharma is not Buddhism, it's Buddha Dharma. You can practice your devotion with any religion. In metaphysics, you see the metaphysics in logos is there, but it's not a religion. So you can be devoted, or you can practice your religion, and you can still study metaphysics, because metaphysics is religion without religion. And our master, Kutuhumi, is the director of the second department of the Bodhisattva, and he is in charge of all the religions in the world. And by the way, religion means union. Okay, flaws. When the gold ruby ray is not well managed, the person is selfish, jealous. The selfish in terms of They are always doing things by themselves. Jealousy is the lack of confidence. When you say, because let me tell you that mine can be so clever. They say, okay, but if you don't feel jealous, if you're not jealous, then you don't love. And it's on the contrary. When you love, you give freedom to the other person. And jealousy is regarding your lack of confidence. So if you are jealous of your partner, it's because you think your partner could go with someone else. You are not good enough. So if you show jealousy to your partner, well, you are demonstrating your lack of confidence. So instead of being jealous, just work on yourself. Be a better person. Be more intelligent. Be more independent. Work on yourself, and you will see that the other person will choose you to be with you. Another flaw is extremely dependent, a victim of self-cheating. It's is that kind of person, or I don't know if this is you, but the person who think that everyone is the conspiracy. There's a conspiracy against you. Your boss is against you. Your partner is against you. Your family is against you. The world is against you. Stop it, please. Relax. Well, this is a flaw of the god Ruby Ray. Superstitious. Like, for example, if you use like a branch around your head, you will be, I don't know, magic things will happen. Superstition is regarding to lack of discernment. You just think, you do what others do without thinking. Fanatic, when the person is fanatic, they only think that their own religion is the only one. They think that their own party is the only one. The rest are rubbish. They think that their own country is the best, and there's a word for that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not talking here about patriotism, no, just being proud of your country. No, it's just thinking that you are superior to the rest of the world because you just were born in a specific part of land and which is different from the rest. And then prejudice, a person with thinking too much. I just remember something that I want to share right now. And it's related to the black color. I said the other day to someone who said, look, black is the lack of light. And the answer was, okay, yes, but if I wear black, I feel like if I enter in a room with a lot of people, they will not see me. I will be not recognized. Okay. And then I said, why? I thought of, I'm sharing with you what I thought. Why you are giving power to what others think about you? You are just thinking, oh, if I'm wearing black, other people will not see me. So why, that is a vortex, a mental vortex. Why you are thinking what others will think about you, what you are wearing? That is a mess, please. That is prejudice. being a prejudice. Well, one of the things that the gold ruby ray was not well managed, definitely, with the Crusades, the Christian Holy War. Remember about fanatism, what I said? The Inquisition also was that. So things belonging to the gold ruby ray: the planet Mars, the water elements, the astral plane. Astral is feelings, the taste, the Manipura chakra. The Manipura chakra is the chakra. Is the chakra in at the umbilical, so in your belly buttock, around there. This is your Manipura chakra on Friday. So on Friday, if you want to attract or develop prosperity, devotion, peace, you can wear something gold ruby, something orange, something red, something the real gold ruby is the like a ruby, like a ruby color, very like, say, let's say like a dark red, something like that. Gemstones like ruby and garnet, and buildings belonging to gold ruby ray, for example, temples, churches, cathedrals, mosques. And in terms of music, well, we have the Pavan pour in an infant de font, that was French, by Maurice Ravel, and spirituals, and Verdi's music. Well, so light beings of the gold ruby ray, just to mention a few of them, because the list is long, long, long. So remember that for each, I'm just going to say that, for each ray, there is a Elohim, an archangel, and a Chohan, the director of the ray. Elohim, well, Elohim is regarding the mental plane, all relating with forms. And the Elohim of the gold ruby ray actually there are two, tranquility and Pacific. Then, in terms of the archangels of the gold ruby ray, they are Uriel and Lady Grace. And the archangels are the directors of the angels. The angels are just in the feeling plane. And Chohan, the master, the human being who got that title as a Chohan, is John, the beloved. And then another light beings, are Lady Nava and Ramakrishna, among others. So, Elohim, Tranquility, and Pacific have their musical keynote within Sibelius, Finlandia. So you can listen to that and you will connect it with. You see that Pacific is peace itself. She's the incarnation. She's the being who incarnates peace. And tranquility is he gives peace, tranquility. Don't wait to be in a peaceful moment or in a peaceful place. You can find peace everywhere. Just to connecting with Pacific. A story about Pacific, does it sound familiar to you? Pacific? Geographically? I'm giving you clues. So in the Atlantic era, there was the whole continent was sunk, and the water was in a lot of movement. So Elohim, Pacific, came to calm down the ocean, and that is why we call the Pacific Ocean. Hi, Bida. All right. Well, Archangel Uriel is the supplier of every requirement of each current of life. Current of life, just as simple as it is every human being. It's current of life. He, the Archangel Uriel, he can be invoked for money. So if you need money, you just can invoke Archangel Uriel. And Archangel Uriel's musical keynote is within Brahms' lullaby. So if you know about peace and prosperity, music is so important. So as you see, by listening to specific music, you can connect with these beings. Archangel Uriel, he already has everything. He doesn't have to manifest something. It's you who needs to manifest something: food, clothes, entertainment, house, etc., etc., etc. But you can ask for help. You can invoke specifically Archangel Uriel for money. But the key is your state of consciousness. This is what will give you the opportunity to manifest that money. Okay, what else? Archie Lady Grace musical keynote is within Schubert's Impromptu number 3. Lady Grace, she's Sorry. This is, yes, Archangel, yes, and the complement of Uriel. And I'm going to give you something very interesting that when I learned that, I said, oh yes. When you cook, you can say, I'm premating this with the grace of God. And you will see afterwards that the food tastes different. And people might ask you, oh, what did you do? This is delicious. And then you will say, I am permeating this with the grace of God. And it's not about salt, it's not the quantity of salt that what you put on. It's the grace of God. Whatever you do, it will taste delicious. Okay. John developed is Jesus' disciple who leaned his head on Jesus' chest at the Last Supper. So he was one of the 12 disciples, Jesus' disciples, and he was the only one who was with Jesus through through not all his life, because he wasn't there when he was born, but when he met Jesus, from that moment and so on, he was with Jesus. And it didn't happen with the other disciples. Remember, when Jesus was crucified, or he was on the cross, he was with only two people. His mother, Mother Mary, and John. He also wrote one of the Gospels and was in charge of Mother Mary after Jesus' ascension. Because John, when he was on the cross with Jesus and Mother Mary, so Jesus said something. Jesus said to Mary, "Mother, this is your son," and to John, "John, this is your mother." And that particular moment represented the initiation for Mother Mary, because afterwards she was the mother of humanity, not only for Catholics, for everyone. Because Jesus at that time, he wasn't Christian or anything. He was a Jew, by the way, the same as Mother Mary. So, Peter, if you want to go to Arizona, you can go to the Eagle Point and go to the Grand Canyon. And you will see this. This is the Eagle Point, and you see on the rocks, there is a, if you can see, there is an eagle on the rocks. The eagle is the electronic pattern of John. And there's one here. And actually, John developed is the token of the gold ruby ray, and the eye of the this eagle is a tiny ruby. Wearing this is not just for showing off. This is to connect with the remember that an electronic pattern is every atom of this being has a shape. So when you see an eagle, as you see here on the rock, you see the electronic pattern of that being. So you are connecting with that being. And this is the Grand Canyon is the place where the etheric retreat of John is. So you can go there, and you see that even the stones are like no ruby, but they are red. The earth is red there. Okay, so Nada, Lady Nada, Nada's life inspired the Cinderella story. Nada, her name means nothing. The story Cinderella is based on her life. Nada had some siblings, and she was, let's say, from all her siblings, she was the one with less tributes, let's say. Oh, for example, her sisters were able to sing, to dance, to play piano, many things. Well, she wasn't able to do anything, but every night she was blessing their inner self. Say, "I bless your inner self. I bless your inner self," in order to her sisters to become more and more experts in their abilities. So she incarnated the renounce. When we renounce to something, to be someone. And well, that is Cinderella. She was, the story of the lady cleaning, even though she was the owner of the house. But well, you can see the movie if you haven't watched it, or read the book. So Nada's musical keynote is within My Hero, the Chocolate Soldier, the opera The Chocolate Soldier by Strauss. And the electronic pattern, so Nada's electronic pattern is this cross with wings. She's the representation also of Mother Lakshmi, if you know about in Hinduism. And another master of wisdom is Ramakrishna, and he's a master of enlightened devotion. He was devoted to Mother Kali. Mother Kali is the wife of Shiva's wife. Wife we call the divine complement, and he was very, very devoted to her. Enlightened devotion means he wasn't a fanatic. His guru taught him how to meditate. So Ramakrishna said in one opportunity, Ramakrishna, I have another story of Ramakrishna, which is, you will probably not understand, but I will explain anyway. He didn't read. He didn't read about things. He was just acting as. So when he wanted to understand women, he was dressed as a woman. When he wanted to understand this thing is what is his name? He has a monkey face. In Hinduism, is very, very, very well known as well. If I remember the name, I will say. And he went to the forest and he lived on the trees like a monkey. And he went with his disciples to teach, to give the instruction, and he had to cross a river. And to cross a river, they needed to go on a boat. So the thing was very interesting. Well, he jumped into the boat with his disciples, and there was a person on the boat, and he was saying, "You, Ramakrishna, you know nothing. You just are lying to your disciples. You're just a fraud," and many things. So Ramakrishna, when they finished, they crossed the river, he said, gathering here. You are not, you cannot say that you are my disciples. That person insulted on me and you did nothing, so you don't deserve my teachings, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he gave the instruction and then he had to return. So he had to go back, and again, he was on the boat with his disciples, Ramakrishna, all his disciples, and you know what? Again, the same person on the boat saying, "You again, Ramakrishna, you know nothing, you are just, what you are saying is rubbish, blah, 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 blah." Long story short, all his disciples came over that man. They just punished him. One took his hair, the other arm, the other leg, and blood. Okay. Again, Ramakrishna, when they finished the trip, the crossing over the river, again meeting, and he said to his disciples, "You don't deserve my teachings. You learned nothing. I'm talking about compassion. I'm talking about love, and you just almost killed that man." That was one of the biggest teachings of Ramakrishna. I'm not going to ask you if you understood, but it's amazing. One of that one. That one is amazing. Okay, and well, that's all. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and see you next time. Bye for now. Mhm.